Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts here. Now, this is the Gaming Saloon for July 1st, 2023, which is Spacebreaker 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
So, it's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Did you mean to pick a time code for the video, by the way?
No.
Okay, well then you whoopsed.
Oh, did it save a time code?
Yes.
Dang, damn it. Let's see, how do I get rid of that?
Very good. That is far different. Regular links? I don't know how you must technically we can do it like literally have to get.
Yeah, I was about to say it should be whatever second thing's on there. I wasn't trying to add a time code. If I was going to add a time code, I would have added a time code when Skillup starts talking about this, but it's at the start of the video, so it's kind of redundant.
There we go.
Okay.
That's fixed.
So yeah, it's an interesting couple of weeks, folks. It's a short list, but there's a lot to talk about within the list. Amongst other stuff I don't want to talk about from the last, 2 days. 'Cause, although one thing I've noticed is that Anime Expo is this weekend, but I have heard nothing about any leaks from Shout Factory's booth at the Anime Expo, if they're at Anime Expo, so no word on a Rider set or Sentai set from them yet. Because the Kuga and 5-man sets leaked because they just had posters for them set up at their booth. Maybe we'll hear something before the weekend's over. But anyway, for the news and stuff, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Well, obviously a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
Yay!
Been doing randomizer. I really kind of like the path. Now, it's the problem that I'm running into is I do need to sit down and look at how it's figured one more time, because the numbers are a good thing, but they can still lead you in the wrong direction, which is fine. That's how a good hint system should be. It should kind of rely on thought behind it too. But I'm also needing to look because I know at one point Spike was talking about how there's only a certain number of effects that can be in each one. So if you get more than that hinted, then it's probably not that world. So it might be something I need to look into that side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or Citizen, which is actually something we both can. Oh.
We got money by salvaging ships that we also were bumper carring around a little bit.
Yeah.
Oops.
Also, I have hopped in a couple more times since then. And I think when we were playing, I ended around 250. A little over 300,000 now.
Yay! We might get to buy ships at some point.
I have been watching a streamer that he's doing a hardcore challenge. Where basically you start with one ship. Your goal is to buy all the other Drake ships, for instance, with the in-game money. And he's added a twist on it where he's only got 5 lives. I'm like, a PvE variant of that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a PvP, but I could see doing a PvE, implementing like the bunker missions and stuff like that into it also. Because like the bunker missions, the salvage mission, your delivery missions, I know all three of those at higher level can interact with the AI as far as enemy side of things. So that might be an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of those I'm tossing that in. I might wait till next patch kind of deal. Just do it straight from a clean patch. But one of those I'm not sure if I'm gonna dedicate to that one or not. It's been fun watching the stream kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And watching the creative and getting so close to losing life and then somehow clutching it out.
Yeah.
I did finally back in the mindset of wanting to play Tears of the Kingdom again.
Hooray! We might get to talk about spoilers of that game eventually.
Done the first dungeon, and
Which one was your first?
the first one was the Rito one that I did.
Oh, so the Wind Temple.
Yeah,
Okay.
with Colgera as the boss.
That was yeah, that was my third. You can absolutely destroy that boss in like 5 seconds flat.
Yeah.
I realized that halfway through, I was like, wait a minute. Can I shoot arrows at him?
I died the first time trying to figure out the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And what's bad is I didn't even die to the boss. I died because I forgot to pull the glider out before I hit the ground.
Ah, that part. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That one was actually my third dungeon.
so that was one of those I was like, whoops. Well, let's take that from the top. I think I know how to quick kill this thing. And yeah.
Yeah. I believe I have quick killed him. And I have quick killed his depths variant, which I think there are several depths variants. Because I've been exploring the depths, and apparently there are multiple of the temple bosses in the underground. Because I have swear I've passed him like 3 times, but I can't have because I was in separate locations in the depths. So there must be multiple variants of him. Which makes sense. They're all hiding, they're all guarding chests with, I think, amiibo or amiibo outfit stuff from like the previous game. Because I believe all of the stuff you got from amiibos is in the depths now in chests.
I could see that. But yeah. I did that one. I must say, out of all the, because in case people didn't put 2 and 2 together, Colgera is a Mulgera variant.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the Mulgera fights, though, I feel like that one probably is the most creative.
It feels fun when you're doing it the intended way, where you're dodging his whirlwinds, all that stuff, and you're setting up to more or less just go, I'm gonna dive on you and break your stuff, and you're just diving through him for each attack. It's fun, but then you realize, wait, if I break those just by diving into them, I can break them with anything, right? Pull out your bow and arrow, bop, bop, bop. Oh, look, you're dead in 5 seconds.
Oh, I just went back and bought arrows, and then I kind of had enough fire plants.
Mm-hmm.
Ice boss, fire arrow. Dead.
You don't even need fire arrows. You can break it with anything.
I kind of figured, but I was like, I'm gonna do fire because, yeah, that should be the natural. Yeah, it will do more.
I'm pretty sure I broke them with just enemy materials bolted to my arrowheads.
I could see it. I had like 49, I think it was, of them fire plants. So I was like, I got a crap ton of these. Pop. I have found out that the new runes are busted, and by that I mean the hand is busted.
Yeah.
You know, before you get to the Rito Village, how the bridge is down, and that's the point where the game expects you to utilize the pine cones to create enough of the updraft to slide over.
Oh, you mean that thing I bypassed because I just went there via Skyview Tower?
Or the thing that I bypassed by just saying, huh, there's a bunch of trees. There's an axe. Make bridge.
I'm pretty sure I dived into the Rito Village via a Skyview Tower. I forget what I did on stream, but I'm like, I think I came out of there seeing this like, oh, by the way, the bridge is out. And I'm like, there was a bridge?
Right?
What bridge? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I came from the other way. What other way? The tower over there. How? Light it down.
I made it to the bridge being down there. Talked to the one that was saying about the bridge is down, no one can get over there right now. I'm like, oh, bridge is down? I can fix that. Yes, it took far too long. And your way definitely would have been quicker. I didn't care, I wanted to build bridge.
I also did not fix that when I was done.
I didn't.
So that is still busted in my game. Yeah.
I might have just jumped straight out of Rito Village heading towards the... Rito is in the southwest?
Yes.
Okay.
Rito southwest.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't 100%. Also, finding out that if you attach a ruby to a shield will give you more than enough heat, I'm like, that is helpful.
I just bought the clothes and just went about my day.
I don't have enough rupees.
So you know how you can scan Amiibo? Guess what? They give you a whole bunch of stuff of to sell.
Yeah, I'm not.
I have done shamelessly because I'm like, I need materials. I need money to buy stuff.
I'm not, because I'm trying to learn the other mechanics kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
When I saw about the rubies giving you heat, I was like, if that's the case, attach that to shields on back, I'm good. And yeah, shields on back, I never had to change clothes. Even in the dungeon, I never had to. I was flirting with that cold, and if I ever swapped off of that shield, I would have been screwed. But
Did you pick up the quest for the memories along the way?
Yes, I already had known.
Okay, have you checked any of them?
I have checked 2.
Okay.
I do not remember the 2. So
that's fine. I only care about what you think of when you get to the last one.
I'm stuck right now between wanting to just push the dungeons first and just pick up towers along the way. That way I've got at least fast travel points.
That's what I was doing. Is on stream I was picking up stuff as I went, and then off stream I would either pick up stuff around where I already had been in terms of shrines, towers, more or less just filling out the map, and anything I did on stream was more or less as I went.
Yeah. I'm trying at least to get the map open, because that was the big thing that I fought with Breath of the Wild. And is it bad that I almost wish that at least the land map was already filled in? That we still had to do the Skyview Towers to get the sky map?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like enough's really changed for the base map. Seems like everything that's changed has for the most part been the sky and the depths.
Yeah, I think things have changed, but I think they've changed in settlements and stuff. where people are. Things have not really changed elsewhere.
And that's why I'm like, I kind of just wish the base map was there still. Maybe I could even see them meeting in the middle and have done something like, okay, you've got the map from Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the new stuff that's in there. You have to do this to get the new stuff.
Yeah, because the depths are its own separate system, because it doesn't use the shrines, it uses the light roots that don't give you anything for when you scan them or when you touch them.
I mean, they do. They give you your hearts that you've lost to the corruption back.
Right, but that's a passive thing. If you go back to them, it'll heal you again. That's just a passive it does. It doesn't just, it's not really doing that just because you scanned it.
I also love the fact that I get 6 hearts, I decide I'm gonna go ahead and check out a little bit down there. Lose 2 between the first light route and
Yep.
I'm like, okay, I'm done with this for right now. I will come back later.
They give you the tiniest bit of leeway if you're stepping in the goop. So if you're careful enough, you can like power through the goop and not lose a heart, but
it's not the goop that was doing it.
Oh, fair enough. Do I need to recommend you the best vehicle possible for exploring the depths?
I don't have enough stuff ready for long-term vehicles yet.
Oh, okay. All it is 2 fans and a control stick.
Yeah, see, I don't have a control stick.
Right.
Unless I carry one from another part of the map.
Right. You don't have the auto build rune, right?
Nope.
Okay. If you want that, you have to go back to the main town, talk to Napura, the other one, and she'll send you on a quest, and that will get you the auto build rune, which not only will let you like automatically build with like nearby Zonite devices, but also just make them with Zonite. Which is really nice. Also, you can get like blueprints throughout the game, and you can also favorite things that you've made. I've pretty much favorited the hover bike, as it's called, because I believe it's a fan at a 45-degree angle bolted to the front of the control stick, and then another bike or another fan at a 45-degree angle bolted to the other end of it. See if I can find a picture of it.
I'm also in between my quests to go fill in the map again. I am also in the process of trying to get the batteries.
Yeah.
God, that's a long and drawn out process.
Yep. It is 100 charges per battery.
Uh-huh.
Or not per battery, per chunk of a battery. And it's 3 chunks per battery.
Uh-huh. I think I'm at like 60 something charges at the moment.
Mm-hmm. The good news is there are chests with bigger chunks of those charges. Like 50 and 100 chunks, or not 50 and 100, 20 and 100 chunks.
I wonder if there's
So
a
if you
map
find
to all of them. I would not be against just going and getting all.
I think they're all either connected to mines, a thing that you have to go through in the depths, and those copies of bosses, I believe. Yeah, it's the copy of the bosses that have the charges. I think they have like chunks of 100 in their chests. And I think the places you have to go to fight your way through have 20, and I think the mines have 20. That is not how I wanted that post.
How you want?
No, it wasn't.
Because I don't think downloading the webpage.
No. Oh, what?
That is still not.
Oh my god.
Third time's charm.
Why? I am just copying the image. Fuck off.
I mean, I guess it kind of worked because I was able to download it and look at it, so yes.
Why is it doing this?
Oh, it's not a
understand.
normal picture image.
What the fuck? I'm pulling this up to Google Images. What? Oh my god.
Grabbing an AVIF, which is not a generic photo. But oddly enough works. Because it's actually, it let me pull it up in the Photos app when I downloaded that other one. I want to look at something now.
But at least you see what the hover bike is. And that is what people have discovered of. Oh, this is essentially the bike from Breath of the Wild, but we fly with it. And it's like the reason people use it is it's efficient.
Oh, it's a JPEG variant, is what that extension is.
Okay.
I just renamed it and it still is fine. Pulled it right up. I bet it's some kind of new image format.
People need to knock that shit off.
Probably some kind of lossless JPEG variant, kind of like PNGs are.
As long as it's not that WMPG that all the wikis use that I despise with a burning passion because they're impossible to deal with.
I mean, you don't like web graphics?
No. You can't do anything with them. You have to convert them to another format to then be able to do anything with them.
I mean, yeah.
But
Also,
yeah, that bike is
looks weird.
the hover bike.
Uh-huh.
Yep. It controls perfectly well and it's very efficient.
I do know where a control pod is, so I'm wondering, or where one's just laying naturally.
Yeah.
Because there's parts to make a car on the map just sitting there. Unfortunately, where the car's at doesn't do much.
Have you just been around the Sky Islands a lot?
Nope. I'm been staying on the ground for right now.
I'm trying to think if it was on the tutorial island or not. Like a specific thing that would help you.
As far as for the control platform?
As far as getting Zonai devices.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's one there, and there's... Where did I run into that other one? I've ran into a second one somewhere, but I can't think of where it was at. But the one on the Sky Islands does not give you the
control stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are Gashball machines that give you control sticks because I have too many Zonai devices because I always dump one of the large, like not charges, like the large,
the
like
that I have found do not.
Yeah. I swear there's like a couple on the Sky Islands, but I can't tell you where without pulling up my map.
It's not on the main island, at the very least.
Yeah.
It probably is on some of the other Sky Islands, but it's not on the main island.
Because every time I've encountered those Gashball machines, I've taken one of the large battery cores or one of the large Zonai cores and then like 4 small ones and dumped them in, and it usually gives me everything that's in the Gashball machine. And like,
I usually don't even have to do all that. I usually can just get off the other Zonai parts.
Right.
Because both
But
the
this
ones
way
that
I-
I've found, that's all I've had to do.
Oh. Well, this way I get a bunch of the stuff, and then I'm just overflowing with Zonai stuff that I just don't know what to do with.
Oh, fair. I've got plenty of them fans. I might go back over to that control stick area and make one.
I feel like fans are like the most plentiful thing in the game.
They are. And it's probably because the game wants you to take to the skies.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as it's been found out, the gliders, they have a hard limit for how long they can be in the air.
Really?
Yep, they will time out after a while.
Regardless of stamina?
Yeah. Or no, not your like paraglide, like the Zonai device one.
Oh, the Zona devices. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Zonai device one times out after a while. But what's funny is if you what's the video say that I watched? If you held neutral on the control stick and popped out another one from your inventory, you can still keep you can still keep going. Because you'll drop right on the glider as it comes down, as it comes out. So you'll still be going. But you kind of have to like time it right with like when the other one disappears and like being in stick neutral and dropping the next glider.
Yeah. Which is probably not useful. Truthfully.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of anything else I've learned. I've went back to it a little bit since I've beaten it, just to pick up some shrines and stuff. I found out that after you beat the game, there is a counter on all of your quest stuff that shows you how many of each quest you've beaten out of totals. There's also a percentage ticker on the map now that shows your more or less your overall progress of the game. And that counts shrines, light roots, towers, locations of places, like named locations of places. Korok seeds, the memories, yeah, it's pretty much everything that can be put, as the video put it, everything that can be put on that menu that can show up on the screen can be put on there.
I have literally walked past 3 Korok seeds because of the first one after I came back into it. I wasn't thinking about it being a Korok seed till I finished it. Then when the Korok came out, I'm like, I hate you so much.
I've done some to like get my inventory up. If I decide to do more of the game, I'll probably get my max inventory, but I am not doing all 1,000 of them.
It's probably going to be hard pressed for me to do enough to get inventory expansions. I'm just going to put it that way.
Yeah, because it's I think 440 Korok seeds to do so.
Yeah, it's going to be hard pressed for me to even get a chance of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just patiently waiting for you to get to all the memory stuff and then get to the final boss stuff, because
more than likely what will wind up happening will be very similar to how I did Breath of the Wild. I will probably wind up down to the last of the dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
And then proceed to go hunt all the memory stuff. Because that's pretty much how I did Breath of the Wild. It was a case of, I did the 3 divine beasts, and then I was like, you know what? In case it thrusts me into the end, I'm going to do all this before I do the 4th one.
Well, I can tell you how I did it, is I did the 4 main areas. Then I did the memories. Went, oh fuck. that happened. That was the end of a stream. And then I came back and did more or less what was the end game, which is there's one more. Okay. There is 2 areas after that. And then it's more or less the final boss rush. The final boss rush locks you in, but the 2 areas do not. I'll say it that way to not.
So pretty
spoil.
much like the first game.
Yeah.
Because Hyrule Castle did not lock you, but once you stepped foot in Calamity Ganon's arena, then you were locked. Regardless of what your progress was.
Yeah, that's why I had the fun of, oh, I can't heal my Gloom Hearts. Oh, I can't teleport out. I have to load a save in order to like get that material. I guess I'm just gonna have to learn the boss. And learn the boss I did, as I almost perfected his ass. Trying to think of any. Well, you've already done the memories, so you know how they go. I had a rough time the first one because I was like, where the fuck is this thing at? I can't find it.
Yeah, here's the problem though. It's been a while since I did it. So when I went to try to do one of them that I had found along the way to the Rito village, I forgot what I was looking for. So now I've got to stop and relook at the beginning of that and remember.
Essentially, you're looking for a filled-in tier, because there is a filled-in tier in all of them. Once you find the tier shape in the picture, that's where you have to go to get the memory. The problem is that it's...
So you gotta play Where's Zelda to find the tier.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't feel like that's a spoiler. I feel like that's good enough for that.
Yeah, it's if you want to know what Zelda's up to, guess what? You gotta look at all the memories, because that's where the fun part is. You want to know where Zelda is? Do all the memories. It'll tell you where Zelda is. I guess anything else?
No. I'm guessing it didn't take, so no.
Oh, okay. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I haven't really played that much. It's been a sleep kind of couple weeks. I have gotten through more of Pokemon Adventures. I'm in the gold, silver, crystal stuff, where more or less we have the masked man who has like flawless control of ice as our bad guy that all of our different characters are interacting with. And also the dogs are here, and Suicune keeps going to all the trainers like, fight me and show me if you're worthy. And then Suicune beats the shit out of all the gym leaders, and it's like, you're not worthy, goodbye. But I'm on like the second to last volume where they're doing a exhibition before the big Pokemon tournament for the championship. And it's the Kanto gym leaders versus the Johto gym leaders. So they're all paired up accordingly. And the big thing is, one of them is the masked man. So our heroes are nearby watching all of these fights to determine who the masked man is. Guess which one of them is the ice type gym leader?
Which one?
That'd be Bryce. Guess who's the masked man? The ice type gym leader.
Sounds better.
It doesn't help that like several chapters before then, like you have some characters to go visit Bryce at his gym, and he's got all of these like big fancy like ice sculptures of Pokemon, and he has this ice sculpture of Suicune that he tricks them into fight, that he like pretends to fight with Whitney, I believe. And it's like, oh, it's my training time and stuff. It's like, I'm preparing for Seekun comes to me because I'm scared to fight him. And then it ends the chapter with Bryce going, I know Seekun won't show up. He has a very good reason for never showing up to fight me. Kind of ominous. And it's like, oh, you're the masked man, aren't you? Because of course you're the one person who doesn't look like he would be since he's in a fucking wheelchair. Because Bryce is in a wheelchair in the manga. But Adventures re-rates still continue to be good, so hooray. But shall we get to the news then?
I guess we shall.
All right, we had a Nintendo Direct. Hooray! I felt too tired to like do a reaction to it, so I just watched it, and it was fine. There's some neat stuff in here, but it's not like the most exciting Nintendo Direct we've ever had.
0 out of 10. No Prime 2 remaster.
No Metroid anything, actually.
Yeah, no.
But we'll hit through the list of this and talk about the stuff as it comes along. First up, to my surprise at least, there was Pokemon stuff. I figured they'd save this for a Pokemon present, as they normally do. We got our first in-game
DLC.
Yeah, we got our first in-game look at both the Teal Mask and the Endo Disc. That is the two-part DLC that is coming out end of this year. So we got our first look at more or less our Legend of Momotaro's Pokemon with Monkey Friend, the Pheasant Friend, and the Oni Friend, and then the one in the mask. Then we got a game look at Endo Disc, which has the Turtle Friend, which if you're watching the Pokemon anime, which I am, you've already met Turtle Friend, like the pre-evolution of Turtle Friend, because it shows up in the anime. But nothing too noteworthy, actually, outside of just here's the in-game look at stuff. I know they hinted at some returning Pokemon, but one of the leak people I check in on more or less already has a list of everything that is coming back for the 2 DLCs because it's already in the data. So, oops.
Whoopsie.
But they seem fine. I think the problem is that Scarlet and Violet just aren't hitting for either of us. So I'm not super excited for them.
I feel like part of the thing that wound up as far as just in general, not necessarily with us, but just all together, the hype around it kind of died because it's unoptimized.
Yeah, it's really unoptimized.
And that's really the only problem with it. I'm starting to wonder if they tried to muck with the engine, and that's what caused it.
Yeah,
because
maybe
if we had gotten an announcement of a new Switch by this point, then that would full on be the, oh, well, they were planning on this to go on the new console. But the fact that Nintendo's still holding true to the, we don't have a successor for the Switch, it's one of those, it's like, this almost feels like they dropped the ball then.
Yeah. They'll come out. I might grab them whenever they come out. I don't know. We'll see. Splatfest is happening July 14th through the 16th. It is now flavor themed. We have your choice of vanilla, strawberry, or mint jet. I feel like there's only like 2 good options here.
I don't know, 3. All 3 are viable.
I'd say I'm not the biggest fan of mint as a flavor, so.
Fair. There is really only one clear cut that I would pick out of all 3, but I mean, that's beside the fact.
And which one would that be?
Strawberry.
Fair. We might do this that weekend for pre-show stuff. I don't know. Detective Pikachu Return. What?
We could.
Yeah. Detective Pikachu Returns. The sequel to Detective Pikachu is finally here on the Switch after being announced like 4 years ago. Literally, this thing has been on the table for several years now. I think before the movie even came out. But it is Detective Pikachu. It is coming out October 6th. I have no big thoughts on this because I don't know what else to say. Like, for those that are wondering what these games are like, they're point-and-click adventure games, essentially. That's all they are. And I say plural because the first game was technically released in episode format. Which I thought they were porting that to the Switch at some point, and they're not. Because that was a 3DS eShop title exclusive in Japan. At first. Which is still so weird. But you feel anything about the not Ryan Reynolds Pikachu?
No, not really.
All right, then. Super Mario RPG is getting a remake coming November 17th. This was I don't think this is on anybody's bingo card. It certainly wasn't on mine because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's Super Mario RPG. What are you? Wait. They would have said if this was coming to Switch Online. And then you see the transition to the new graphics and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they're remaking this. Oh. I didn't see this coming. Apparently, like, day of, somebody said there was a SNES RPG getting a remake to be announced at the Direct.
Gee, I mean, that was either one, a lucky guess, or two, they had some knowledge about it.
Yeah. I think from hearing someone talk about it, the options was this or Chrono Trigger. Because I believe they said a non-Final Fantasy Square RPG, and well, there's only two of them that would be worth remaking. And it would be this in Chrono Trigger.
Yep.
It looks good. It feels very faithful to the original in terms of how it looks, because like Mario is Stumpy, Mallow, Geno, Peach, Bowser all look good. The UI is not great, but it also feels like it's in line with like the recent Mario parties and stuff because it feels exactly like that UI.
Oh, that is Mario Party UI.
Yeah. The composer for the original Mario RPG music is back to do a remix of it. I think it's reillustrated, so it's got new instruments and stuff in it. And interesting enough, it seems like we have new mechanics. So there seems to be a combo system tied to your like number of timed hits on both attack and defense. So if you get enough of those in a row, you get bonus buffs and stuff. See if I can find. Let's see. At 3, you get like a regular boost. 4 is for action gauge. 5 is defense, and 6 is magic defense. I assume if it's linear like that. And then we have the percentage gauge, which later in the trailer, I think there are cutscenes that are not present in the original game, featuring 3 of the party members. See if I can find where it's at. It's like 123 in the trailer. It's a couple of these scenes that feel like they don't add up to like things that happened in the original game. So they're not cutscenes representing events. And some of them have 3 party members in it, or 3 of the party members in it. And we have 3 party members on the field. And this gauge ticks up as you're doing attacks and stuff. I think it's a team attack gauge.
I could see that.
I think. because we only have 5 party members in this game, unless they surprise us and throw in an extra 6 party member for some reason that wasn't in the original game. But I think they could be team attacks. Is this something new to add to the game? Because I think it's also mixed in with some maybe super attacks that the party members have. Maybe.
Is Nintendo or Square being the ones focused on the remake, or is this being handed off to another studio?
I don't know.
Because if this is in-house with one of them two, then I could see them implementing stuff that they couldn't do on the SNES. If it's another studio, then that might shed some light onto what some of these systems are. It almost feels like it's the same Nintendo team that does the Mario Party stuff, though, because it's got a lot of the same shine and polish that a lot of Mario Party games do.
As far as I know,
oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, as far as I know, no one is confirmed for the development of this. So I don't know who's making it.
Because that's going to be the big question.
Mm-hmm. Like, the only thing I know is that the original composer is back to rearrange the music, and it's coming out in November. That's it.
This definitely doesn't look like anyone that we're used to seeing doing remasters of games.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards it could be in-house, and it could be them just implementing stuff that they couldn't implement before.
Right. I'm just really curious, like, what deal Nintendo struck to make this game happen. Because for those wondering, Square has partial rights to everything original to this game that did not come from Mario. So primarily, Mallow and Geno are partially owned by Square Enix, which is why they have rarely ever shown up again. Because Nintendo has to go talk to Square to, get them to show up anywhere. But then I believe, like, all of the original bosses to this game are, like, Square owned partially. Or at least any of, like, the original enemies that would not be, like, claimed by Nintendo are also partially Square owned. So, like, Square has to be involved in this game to some degree in order for it to happen.
Hey, almost like Square also had to be involved to get a certain keyblade wielder to be in Smash.
Well, that's fun because they also had to go talk to Disney because guess who partially owns, like, Square Enix, all of the original content in Square Enix or in Kingdom Hearts? Disney.
But what would it be if Square was the ones to present the Sora being in Smash to Nintendo? Nintendo could then have rebutted and been like, okay, only if we can do this.
True. I'm trying to remember because Sakurai has talked about getting Sora into Smash. And I remember the part of he was worried Disney would be a problem with it, but Disney was completely okay with it. The person that was kind of holding it up was Tetsuya Nomura because he wanted to be lore accurate because fucking course he did.
More accurate in a game that doesn't want to really tell the player the line of the lore, but okay.
Yeah, that's Nomura for you. So, like, maybe?
Because that's kind of where I'm leaning with it. It's like it had to be part of the bartering chip that probably got us Sora and Smash.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing could be something based around even other projects that Square's done, like Octopath Traveler. They might have cut them some kind of a deal to have it on the shop at a lesser rate than normal in order to have access to some of their library too.
Yeah, because those have been timed exclusive to the Switch, right?
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I know one's on PC right now. I don't think 2 is yet, but I think it's coming.
So, I mean, it could be something along that lines too.
Yeah. I mean, in any case, the game looks good. I would really like to play this game again because I played it all on stream a few years ago.
In my opinion, it feels like this was definitely a second-hand starter chip kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's new people will want Super Mario RPG in some kind of remaster form.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least a re-release. And then all of a sudden it comes up like, yeah, this was in the works for a while. That's why I'm kind of thinking the Smash thing is probably the reason for that.
Yeah, I guess this also means we're not going to get SMRPG on the Switch Online or the Switch emulator service.
Debatable.
I could see after the fact, but I don't think they would put it up before this came out.
Oh, it won't go up before, for sure. It's the only reason I say it's debatable is because of the fact of we did get the Super Mario 3D All-Stars that had Super Mario 64, and it also wound up in the Switch Online stuff.
Yeah.
It is possible that we could see it. Probable? Not really. Possible? Yeah. So it's one of those I'm like, I wouldn't discount it, but I also wouldn't want to be someone that sat around waiting for it to come to the Switch Online knowing there's a remaster coming out either.
Yeah, I would just play this. It's faithful enough. It's fancy and new. Oh, it's got some new mechanics to it that makes it different than the original, so it's worth a shot. Also announced, but given no date outside of next year, a untitled Princess Peach game with her on a stage doing the stuff. There wasn't a whole lot to this. I guess mainly because they just aren't ready to talk about it until sometime next year.
Maybe.
Maybe. They also announced that Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is going to get released on the Switch. It's going to get overhauled graphically. It's going to come out next year.
It feels like that's a weird one, though, for us to get.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the first one accessible on the Switch, do we?
No.
That means
Not unless it's been...
So that means we'll only have 2 and 3 on the Switch.
And I think most people don't care for 2 anyway.
Pretty much the best of the Luigi's Mansion series. It is kind of the first one.
Yeah. I know people
really
like...
seems weird that Nintendo's dragging their feet on that one, but...
Yeah, I know people like 3, but I know people don't care for 2 because it's a lot more level-based due to it being a 3DS title.
Which, I mean... Yeah, they're doing a graphical overhaul, but they're gonna have to do some kind of a control adaptation because it's coming from the 3DS also.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they'll change a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm. We also got a more extensive look at Pikmin 4. You can explore at night now with these little like luminous Pikmin. You also have Dog Friend. Dog Friend helps you swim. Dog Friend helps you get through stuff. Dog Friend is good friend.
Dog Friend has name.
Dog Friend is an Otachi. You can also rescue other explorers. And I think you can play as them. You can swap between them. And you have Donadori battles against the AI, specifically what looks to be a Pikmin version of Olimar, which I think some people have taken this means that this is taking place after the bad end of Pikmin 1, where Olimar got turned into a Pikmin because he couldn't get off planet. See if I can find it in the trailer at all. Yeah, there it is. Like 208 gives you a picture of what seems to be Olimar or Pikmin Olimar.
I see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Also, when you rescue your other shipmates, they help you get upgrades and stuff for yourself. So, like, you can run faster, you can carry more stuff, etc., etc. They also are putting out Pikmin 1 and 2. They're going to be released digitally currently. They're available digitally currently.
There's a demo for 4.
Oh, yeah, there's also a demo for 4. So you have a demo for 4. This game comes out next month, or this month, July 21st. And then Pikmin 1 and 2 are available digitally to buy right now. But there is a combo pack of the 2 of them coming out physically in 2 months, I believe. 2 or 3 months, I think.
We're fixing
but if you
to
want,
see a bulk of GameCube remastered, aren't we?
I think that's what they're going to do, because I forget who it was I saw on Twitter bring this up, that the ROM sizes for GameCube games may be why they aren't going to do an online emulator service for it, because I think they're like a gig a piece, which might be like it'd be too much file size wise to put into one app, because that app size is going to balloon very quickly.
Fair.
So maybe that might be what they've decided to do, of just like, oh, we're going to do these like remasters and like updated versions of all these GameCube games to put them out there.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But that also poses a slight issue. They have no Zelda to actually do that with. And that might actually lead into why we got 2 Zeldas for this console instead of 1 like we normally do.
Yeah, because it'd be what? Twilight Princess
and Wind Waker, which both have had HD remakes on the Wii U.
Yeah, they're not. They decided not to. They haven't brought those over to the Switch, have they?
No, not yet.
Mm.
And one of the main reasons that everyone speculates why they haven't is because of having to remove the gamepad modifications.
Yeah, that's tricky.
The only alternative they would have to bringing either of them in an HD format is to basically redo the work with the GameCube engine as its back.
Go back to the old version and put in the new content from the new version in the old version. Which sounds like a...
And say that's the other problem. While Wind Waker will be the easier of the two, because randomizer implements the Swift sale, so I mean that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be as easy to do in terms of Twilight Princess because of some of the stuff they actually did implement that fixed problems.
I'm trying to remember, isn't Twilight Princess completely mirrored on Wii?
Yes, it's mirrored on Wii.
Okay. I was like, one of the Zelda games is mirrored from its transition to Wii, because Link is normally left-handed, and they made him, and since he's right, and he needs to be right-handed for the Wiimote, we had to mirror the entire video game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely Twilight Princess because Skyward Sword was already developed that direction.
Okay.
And say, yes, technically, I did just kind of make a counterpoint to what I was saying about the 2 Zeldas. Except Wind Waker kind of came up to a rocky start, which is the only reason Twilight Princess became a thing.
Yeah. I'm surprised they've not brought over Skyward Sword, because I didn't realize that the producer for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom was the producer on Skyward Sword.
What do you mean you're surprised that they haven't?
Have they not?
Yes, they have.
Oh, okay, never mind then. I saw a video talking about like those 3 games and how they kind of are a trilogy because of a lot of the stuff within them.
From that aspect, maybe. But otherwise, no. No.
It's a very loose trilogy in a sense.
It's one of those we truly have only had now 3 times where any Zelda game links into another one, unintended. And that is definitely not 3 of them that go together at all there.
Only 2 of them are supposed to go together.
From a development standpoint, yes. But yeah,
But just shall we move on?
I guess so.
All right, Mario Kart 8 showed off some of the stuff for its Wave 5 Booster Course DLC. A new course called Squeaky Clean Sprint will be implemented, and 3 new characters: Petey Piranha, Wiggler, and Kamek. This is just Mario Kart 9 that they're just putting as the Booster Course Pass. It's like, here's 3 new characters and a new course. And we're, what, halfway through? A little over halfway through
Over
now?
half.
Oh, okay, over half. I thought it was 8 for some reason, but I guess it's 6.
Yeah. It's 6, because I've been doing 2 cups per DLC.
All right.
Which,
that is
in
all.
a sense, we have essentially doubled Mario Kart 8 from its starting point.
Which is ridiculous.
Uh-huh. Because for those that don't remember, bear in mind, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe implemented the 2 DLC cups the Wii U version had. Meaning this is DLC for a DLC game.
Yep.
I think there is not going to be such a thing as a Mario Kart 9.
Not at this rate.
Which is fine. It's one of those that's perfectly fine. I don't know where else they really could go with it.
I think at this point they have to just do something else as a racing game for another console to have that split. Like, it has to be something completely different.
But that's the thing. About the only way they could pull it off would be literally to go ahead and try to dust off F-Zero.
Which is what everyone wants.
I mean, that would about be their only other course for this. Because if you do a Mario Kart 9, then you've got the problem of you've got people that are used to the way Mario Kart 8 released with the 32 tracks, and you've got people that are used to the way Deluxe released with the 48. So do you try to match that or go bigger? And no matter what you do, people are going to be looking for DLC for it now, thanks to the way they did Deluxe's DLC. And I think they're just stuck in a never-ending spiral.
Yeah.
The best option probably would just be to make 8 the definitive and just keep on adding courses with each new installation kind of deal.
Let's see. We also got WarioWare Move It, a 2-player WarioWare game featuring motion controls with the Joy-Cons and whatnot. Yay! November 3rd is when it's going to come out. Over 200 micro games. Here's the thing I knew about, because the paraglider class for the 2 of these is already baked into Tears of the Kingdom code, and people found it. and figured, oh, there must be 2 more amiibo coming because it's the only way to get the paraglider gloss is the amiibo. We are getting Zelda and Ganondorf amiibos holiday this year. Zelda is in her past outfit with the Master Sword, and Ganondorf is rehydrated.
I like that.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But neat. 2 more amiibo. Still waiting on Sora. Also still waiting on Mithra and Pyra to like be available to buy again. Because they put up pre-orders for them, and then I guess they all sold out, and I have not been able to secure an order since then. So I'm kind of waiting, I guess, till they come out this month, and then I can probably buy them.
Maybe. Probably not.
I got a order for a Bokoblin amiibo at retail price recently because they reissued it. So now I have all the Breath of the Wild amiibo.
Nice.
Like at this point, because of that and getting the Splatoon 2 amiibo that I didn't get when they first came out, I pretty much have all of the amiibo backlog, or like the backlog of amiibo I've been wanting. And now I'm just waiting for the rest of the Smash amiibo to come out. Because with, I believe, Pyra and Mithra, I have to check the roster real quick. So I believe with Pyra and Mithra, that we're only missing Sora at this point. Yes. Because we've gotten Sephiroth and we've gotten Kazuya. Yeah, I was going to say, I can't see him, but I saw him. Yeah, Pyra and Mithra are the last 2 that we have announced that we need. And we just need an announcement of Sora. And once we get Sora, that is the entire Smash Ultimate roster in amiibo form. And then I think I'm done with amiibo unless it's a game-specific one.
Fair.
I think at this point. I also think amiibo might just be done after that, because it just feels like amiibo has just become if a developer wants to support amiibo, we're willing to do amiibo for them, but we're not going to push it otherwise.
We're not going to do like we did at the beginning.
Right, where games have to have amiibo support. No, this is if developers want amiibo support, because I think when they did, I forget who it was. It might have been Edgy and Luna, or Edgy for Link's Awakening, a remake of Link's Awakening. Because I remember, I think it was during the Treehouse for that. He said that he wanted amiibo support for his game, or for that game, which is why we got the Link's Awakening amiibo for that. Was because he wanted it. Not a mandate from on high from Nintendo. No, he wanted amiibo in his game for, I think, the custom dungeon stuff was what that was for. But anyway, the last big thing, and the thing they ended on, new 2D Mario in the form of Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Which I'm not gonna lie, kind of has my attention because it does not look like it's the traditional Super Mario Bros. Team.
They highlighted this in the trailer, but it really has this kind of animated quality to it. Not like Super Mario Brothers movie animated, more like, I don't know, what I would think a cartoon Mario animation would look like. In terms of like Mario's animations.
Yeah,
at least.
Actually.
It's one of the things I noticed. And then, of course, we have the picking up these Wonder Seeds and Mario trips out real hard.
In all seriousness, it kind of puts me in like a claymation kind of concept with it.
Yeah, it has that kind of like look to it.
And then, of course, the UI now that I'm looking at it kind of looks like how, truthfully, how modern Sonic games are trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
With more that clean, clear-cut UI kind of concept. So it kind of makes me wonder if the emphasis might more so be on maybe speed as opposed to platforming kind of deal. Like, maybe. I mean, it's a Mario game, so you're always going to have that, but maybe this is going to be more speedrunner focused concept.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have confirmed playable at the moment: Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Toad, possibly of possibly of multicolors, because while we primarily see yellow Toad in the trailer, there is a blue Toad, or there's a Goomba with blue Toad's hat on the box art. So the Toads might be color swappable, because Yoshi is playable in this in a couple different ways, it seems like. And there's Yoshis of multiple colors being played by players. Because we see Yoshi's playable on their own, and then we see two players as a Mario and a Yoshi, and the Mario hops on the back of the Yoshi and does normal Mario and Yoshi stuff real quick.
And then we also have like that image right there, 4 colors of Yoshi.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of in the trailer, where it's just like, yeah, these are playable character Yoshis that I thought might have been a specific game segment where you play as Yoshis, but it seems like a normal level. In hindsight, seeing that like Mario and Yoshi are playable at the same time by 2 different players, so
it's got the 3D world concept. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Where you can store an additional power up because each player has their own bubbles in that Yoshi image.
Yep, and all players share lives, which I think 3D World does.
Yep. So if anything, this is going to more be a successor in the kin of 3D World then.
Mm-hmm. And lastly,
which makes sense, because looking at that same image with the Yoshis, that is a very colorful Bowser castle back there.
Yep. And lastly, to tease us, there is a new power-up that turns Mario into an elephant.
Marifant.
The internet has already had immense amount of fun with this, and kind of has now beget the question of, okay, the power-up looked very elephant, and it turned Mario into an elephant. Does everyone get an elephant form? Do they maybe get different forms? Because like I said, on the box art, there is a Goomba wearing a Toad hat. And it's like, wait, is that the equivalence of this, where the Toads get turned into Goombas?
Oh, there is a few different ones. I get the funny feeling.
Probably.
Okay, on the screen still for the video, the caterpillar on Luigi's back, that looks like that's a crown on its head.
Yeah.
Like something has morphed the crown too.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't surprise me if there are a bunch of different power-ups.
And then, oh, this is the box art, because you can see the blue Toad Goomba in the like top right corner-ish. I also like it. It feels like the image is being like warped out away, because the box art is just like this, where it doesn't fill the entire box. Like it feels like the image has been ripped out, which is I feel like on purpose and a design choice.
Oh yeah.
Because I think I saw someone be like, it looks incomplete, like they're missing something. I'm like, it looks incomplete because the image is literally being warped by this nonsense that we're dealing with this game.
I'm actually kind of excited for that one.
Same. This looks fun. This looks really good.
And I'm not a big 2D Mario person, but this one I've actually got some interest in.
Yep. Also October 20th. So this year.
So much for Nintendo not having anything for the back half of the year.
Very true at this point. Some quickies that kind of filled out some of the like quick segments. Sonic Superstars got another showcase. It's 4-player co-op. I hate that it's local only. It's just like, damn it, why is this local only? No. Let's see, Polilla, Persona 5 Tactica, Myth Force, Arkham Trilogy, Gloomhaven, Just Dance, Silent Hope, Bay Farm, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, which that's cool to see that they're getting it. That's getting a sequel. But the first one's pretty fun. Manic Mechanics, Mario plus Rabbids DLC that isn't the Rayman DLC. I thought we were only getting the Rayman DLC, but this is a completely separate DLC.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like a new area and stuff that you're exploring, which surprised me. I thought we were just getting Rabbids DLC for this. Cool. I need to get back to that game. Dragon Quest Monsters. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which really feels weird because it's like, what the fuck would be in Volume 2? Because Volume 1 is Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3, the original Metal Gears 1 and 2, the NES Snake Eater game, and the graphic novel, or the graphic visual novel from Metal Gear Solid, which is like 90% of what Metal Gear is at this point. I don't know what the fuck you put in Volume 2 besides 4, I guess, Ground Zeroes in Phantom Pain, and maybe like the portable games. But I don't know how sought after a lot of that stuff is.
Which would be on par for a Volume 2.
Yeah. Well, it feels weird because it's like, 4 Ground Zero, Phantom Pain, that's like your core 3. And then you have, I believe it's Portable Ops and Peace Walker. Those are the two main portable games, but you also have Acid 1 and 2, which are the tactical RPG card games for Metal Gear Solid. That sounds weird.
Like a wrong sentence.
It is, but it is good. I have played both. They are very good. I promise. It sounds weird and dumb in concept, but it's actually pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of what everything would be for a collection Volume 2, but I don't know how really sought after a lot of that stuff is. Especially like 4 is one people don't really look after. Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain people don't look fondly after at this point. Like maybe Portable Ops and Peace Walker. I damn sure don't think Acid's really sought after, because I think most people don't even know the Acid games fucking exist. Because again, those were PSP titles. Well, granted, all the portable ones were PSP titles.
Meaning hardly anyone knew they existed.
Pretty much. Vampire Survivors.
Because that's what screwed up. PSP's actually a pretty decent console, so is the Vita, but yeah, it just didn't have the right support.
Yeah.
No one cared.
Vampire Survivors is coming to Switch August 17th, and it will also be when they're launching their 4-player local co-op. I understand why it's not online, because I'm not sure netcode would hold up to what the insane nonsense you do in that game.
No, it needs to have online.
I want online, but I don't know if the netcode can handle it.
It can handle it. If Bungie could make a netcode for Halo 3 work good, it can handle it. Oh wait, they couldn't. Never mind.
And lastly, Star Ocean: The Second Story R is a remake of the original Star Ocean: The Second Story. Upgraded graphics, some 2D, 3D stuff. Hooray! That's it. I guess any other thoughts on the direct?
No.
It was nice. It was fun. Now we get to talk about the other end of the console stuff in a lot of cases, because it's time for Microsoft.
Oh, the company that's losing the console.
Yeah, apparently. So this and a video from SkillUp that kind of compilated a lot of articles and stuff, as a part of his usual weekly news stuff, is what we're going to talk about here. So, kind of to kick it off, all of this stuff has come from the court battle for Microsoft to acquire Activision, and more or less as it's come out, SkillUp talks about this a little bit. If this court case kind of like prevents Microsoft from getting this deal, they'll have to go renegotiate. And if they renegotiate, it's most likely that Activision is just going to walk away with money, and Microsoft gets nothing.
That's kind of funny.
Yep.
Meaning that's the only reason that they are fighting.
Technically, it's not the two of them fighting; it's the government fighting them.
That's what I'm meaning. That's really the only reason that Microsoft's fighting.
Mm-hmm. But amongst these court documents, a lot of stuff has come out from, I guess, mainly Microsoft's end of this because of some of the redactions we got in here, which these redactions are a part of the court documents, I guess, for legal privacy purposes. I assume. So Microsoft has gone on record talking about how they considered acquiring Sega, Bungie, IO Interactive, and more to get more IPs and stuff under their banner. So we have the image that kind of shows like what they were after at one point or another. Thunderful, Supergiant Games, Niantic, Playrix, and Zynga were all possibilities as well, which shows you how wide of a net they were trying to catch in terms of these are people we're after because we want their product and want their companies. But none of these went through because I don't think any of the companies wanted to be a part of Microsoft. So,
which isn't surprising.
But the additional stuff is what SkillUp compiled in his video. The video is linked in our notes. It's the start of the video, so you don't have to worry about time codes. But more or less, Microsoft has come forward saying that they have lost the console war every year since 2001. And at current stances, they're sitting at 16% of the current market share. And that is just in general. In terms of active console market share, they're at 21%. And Sony and Nintendo's numbers are redacted from the court filings. So we don't know.
I will argue with that part of the statement there because Nintendo's numbers never were actually stated in it. It was purely numbers based off of Sony and Microsoft.
Oh, okay.
The courts are what made the call on including Nintendo.
Okay. In general, we don't know their numbers in relation to Microsoft's.
That's the main reason we don't know Nintendo's numbers is because, yeah, Microsoft wasn't even looking at them as a contender, which I think the article that I had read said something about ports really weren't full on considering Nintendo either because they're kind of in their own league being a hybrid console right now.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Nintendo's only competition is itself. Truthfully.
I think they have the biggest portfolio of stuff to do on their console anyway.
It's one of those, it's not a case of they're directly competing with the other two. And I think the only reason they're not classified as a monopoly on their side of it is because their toes are actually dipped into both home and mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as home consoles, that does put them in competition with Xbox and Sony, meaning they're not a monopoly there. And on the mobile side of it, especially now thanks to Microsoft being dumb with their Play Anywhere initiative, kind of the same boat there.
Yeah, and recently we've gotten like the Steam Deck and all the equivalencies of the Steam Deck that more or less puts Steam in competition with Nintendo in that market, probably in the eyes of the court.
Now, at least.
Yeah.
I'm more being the person looking at when the Switch was initially released. Because Xbox was working with the Play Anywhere initiative then. And everyone was comparing the Switch's mobile capabilities to that of mobile games. Meaning that its actual competition at the time was more the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So, I mean, truthfully speaking, yeah, Switch has never been a competitor for this generation.
But yeah, but as Skillet put it, Microsoft has only ever gotten a bronze medal, without saying the words, a bronze medal in a 3-horse race.
But I beg to differ, because if I'm not mistaken, I'm wanting to say that article had said something about the PS3 era, I'm wanting to say. Xbox was actually on top, whereas since then, Sony has been on top. Which is pretty accurate, actually. From an amount of games that would drive me to buying a console for both sides of it, yeah. I feel much more attachment to Sony for PS4 and 5 era than I have Xbox, and truthfully, I can almost say the same thing for 360 PS3. I felt more of an attachment to the Xbox side of it at the time.
Yeah, because the PS3 did not do well. It was a hard system to develop for. It was the most expensive console at the time to buy.
I mean, yeah, it had good games, but it seemed like Microsoft had those hand over fist with the 360.
Yeah.
It wasn't till that next generation that everything kind of shifted Sony's way. Again.
Yeah, so but like I said, this is presented from Microsoft as their evidence in their court battles.
Which is kind of dumb.
Whether or not they are outright lying, I mean, it is a court case. People can present contradictory evidence to show otherwise. Sony can walk up there and say, they could call somebody from Sony being like, do you want to dispute this fact in any capacity?
I'm not really saying that they're lying flat out. It's just there's a lot of truth bending for sure.
Another interesting thing, Elder Scrolls 6, which has been announced for a couple years now. I believe the head of Bethesda has said it is still 5+ years out. Currently. Not 5 years out from when it was originally announced. No. As of right now, it is 5+ years out.
Jeez.
Which is insane to think about. Like, why the fuck did you announce it then? Bear in mind, that was announced with Starfield. And we are just now getting Starfield.
Which, to be fair, I will try it when it comes out, but I am not expecting anything.
Same. The only thing that has gotten me is, ooh, I like the ship customization stuff of just being like, here is a bunch of like modules, shove them together as you please, make whatever you want. I'm like, can I just have that as a video game?
I mean, to be fair, that is kind of in the starting infancy phase in Star Citizen at the moment, because we can upgrade the weapons on ships by literally yanking them off and throwing new ones on. So it's one of those, seeing that that's already in its infancy, it's like, yeah, if it wasn't coming out right now kind of deal, I could see that being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because how much longer before we can change the other parts in Star Citizen ships? We can access all of it.
The head of Bethesda was confused about the exclusivity happening to their titles, but Call of Duty was going to remain multi-platform. Which, like in Star Citizen's case or Starfield's case, it was thankful, because if they like had to go multi-platform, we would not be getting the game in like a few months. It would be much further out. But still, there is that question of like, why is all of our stuff being forced onto your console when you're more than happy to like let COD be multi-platform?
I feel like the only answer to that one is a case of it always has been, so it'd be hard to not. Almost the same kind of, truthfully, the same kind of reason why you would never see Halo on a Sony console.
Right.
It's just one of those, it's never been there, so why start now?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, there was talks early on of Starfield being a PS5 exclusive before it then became a Microsoft exclusive. So, And lastly, Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision, was ready to push Call of Duty to PlayStation exclusivity if the revenue on Xbox platforms did not improve. Bobby Kotick almost made Call of Duty PlayStation exclusive.
That's kind of funny.
And I feel like if this deal falls through, that might happen.
Probably.
But that is the highlights from like 12 different articles on this matter. That is still ongoing and probably will still have weird, insane shit like this come out. So yeah, well, this is not ending anytime soon, folks. This is literally in the courts. This is probably going to be continuing off into next year at this point. Because I feel like Microsoft is not going to let this go easily.
No, they're not.
Because I'm sure they stand to lose.
To this, I'm going to say, they've kind of brought this on themselves, especially for the Xbox One era.
Mm-hmm.
The entire time the Xbox One has been out, Microsoft has been pushing their PC Game Pass. And if you can play it on Xbox, you can play it on a computer, this and that and the other, because they were trying to tap into that PC side of it, where they really should have just focused on the console. It has gotten to a point where I have no interest whatsoever in getting an Xbox, because everything that could be coming to Xbox, I can play on my computer.
Yep. Same. That happened to PS5 too at this point. Well, what felt like the one holdout is not the one holdout anymore, and I'm like, why would I get a PS5 at this point? Yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 2 comes out soon. All right, cool. I'll wait for it to come out on PC.
Right?
Because it'll come out to PC.
Or, you know what I'm waiting on? Them to throw it on the PS Now, like day one or something.
Oh, to like cloud stream it?
Yeah. Because you can do that on a PC too. When those, both of them don't realize it, but they're gonna be the death of themselves. When people no longer need to have a console because they can stream it on their computer without taking up hard drive space and barely touching their internet connection, what's stopping them?
Yeah. You're pushing yourself to become...
What's stopping people from deciding to pay 100, 120 a year for some of these services to, instead of having to pay 500 for a new console, plus the service to play online and the game.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, granted, Spider-Man 2 doesn't have that problem there.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that with a lot of the current actively streaming services where we're finding out streaming services are not that profitable.
Truthfully, if it's a streaming service that I'm gonna have an interest out of the games on,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't feel like 20 or 30 a month is too bad.
Yeah.
Because chances are you're not gonna. Chances are most people are not gonna be able to beat a game in 1 month. You would about have to know life a lot of your bigger games to beat it in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably gonna get at least a couple of months of gameplay, if not more, out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I could almost see it being a case like that, where you pay 20, 30 a month and then be able to play as much as you want. Because I have to think that more people will not be able to take advantage of that unless they're streamers.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, most of your big streamers that do this all the time and, you know, don't have another job they've got to do, they're probably already going to be getting sponsorships and free codes from some of these companies.
Yeah, get review copies and get deals to stream the game for a few hours to talk about it.
So it's not like they're losing money.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as for the average person, where streaming services are at now, yeah, they're not making any money. They're too low for what they're offering, kind of deal.
Yeah. And also too many of them.
I feel like they're so low because there is so many of them right now.
Yeah.
If we started to see both Microsoft and Sony kind of dissolve from the console side of it, I could probably see one of them just saying, okay, we're going to make a master service, everyone can throw in their own, and we all just kind of pull together.
Yeah.
Because then you could still have like the EA Play side of it where you got to pay that extra for their. You could have like part of it where you pay a little bit more to get Xbox stuff, or you pay this much to get just Sony stuff. That way they can kind of still separate it, have it its own thing, but it's more of a cable style where you pick your package and build it how you want it.
I was about to say it becomes ye olde satellite service where you pick the channels you want and that's what you get.
And I honestly think that would be the only way that you could make money off of streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because that is the opposite of what streaming services are set out to do.
Streaming services were trying to kill satellite and now they have to become satellite in order to live.
It's immensely funny because it's like, yeah, you thought that was the better idea. How's that working for you?
Time is just a circle, folks. It just goes round and round and round and round.
And it always happens this way because it has to.
Yeah. But any other thoughts before we move on?
No.
All right, then. Next up, so we're getting an Among Us animated show for some reason. But Owen Dennis of Infinity Train will be in the head seat for it, along with the developers of Among Us serving as co-producers.
Okay, this one line in the article just made me think, okay, duh. The series won't stray from the game's basic premise. Duh.
I would hope so. Also, what would an Among Us show be? Because I'm like, I feel like what would work for Among Us is not like one continuous story, but like more like short episodes.
Actually, I could see it being one continuous, but maybe having it in a mindset of like the characters are being part of a VR experiment kind of deal.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of put into the game. Where each round could be different and could be building to, say, a higher force for one imposter kind of deal that becomes end boss or something kind of like that. I could see something like that working. Or even a basic life counter kind of concept. Because, I mean, in a sense, when you're playing the game, you get dropped in, you never know who's the imposter. You come back to the lobby, you're still fine.
Yeah.
So I could kind of see them playing off of that and modifying it slightly. It feels like that could be interesting, but it also feels like it could go wrong very quickly.
Right.
It's one of those I'm not sure how to feel on that one.
We'll see how it goes, because since it's animation, it's not technically hit by the writer's strike.
Yes, it kind of
for
is.
now. Well, I was about to say for now, but
yeah, it kind of is.
Okay, then is it being hit by the writer's strike? So this is going nowhere fast, amongst other things, a lot of other things. Yeah, we'll see. Last up, to further dig the grave and to pile salt upon it, E3 2024 and 2025 have been supposedly canceled by the LA Tourism Board.
You don't do it 1 year and just canceled forever.
But apparently slides...
Is this a surprise?
I mean, no. It's only a maybe because there's no real official word, and it's apparently just in slides for like the LA Tourism and Convention Board that just says E3 cancellations for 2024 and 2025. That's all we have, but like, do we really need more than that?
I mean, pretty sure we're all in agreement that it is done, kind of deal.
I feel bad because every time I see people sad about E3 being dead, I'm just like, E3 died years ago. You are mourning the grave, essentially.
Yeah.
This death is not fresh.
E3 died before the Switch's release? I think that was about when Nintendo started just doing the Direct instead of doing conferences.
I'm just reminded of Giant Bomb's conversations right at when COVID started, where they were talking about E3 2019 and how empty E3 2019 felt. And then all of the supposed plans for E3 2020, Q-tainment, folks. Like all of those plans that sounded absolutely atrocious and sounded like the worst things possible for E3, that the only reason we didn't get them was because COVID. But then, COVID more or less kept E3 like off the table and really pushed all these studios and stuff to do direct style presentations. And then comes that realization of, we have to spend a lot of money to set up our booths and stuff at E3 and do all this stuff. And we save that money and still get the same, if not more, coverage of our products. Why does E3 exist then?
I mean, to be fair, like I said, we kind of saw this coming before the Switch's release.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nintendo started doing their directs in preference over a conference.
Yeah.
And when they started doing that, that's when we started seeing smaller ones that really didn't have any need for a conference coming in and doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, when you've got a 20-30 minute conference, you really didn't need it.
Yeah.
It took more time to get everyone in their seats than it did to actually do the conference. Come on.
Like that happened first, and then I believe I don't remember exactly when it happened, but Sony backed out of E3, was doing their own things, even if it still wasn't on in-person presentation. They were doing their own things that weren't affiliated with E3, weren't associated with E3. They weren't paying E3 any money at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like Microsoft was the last holdout in terms of those presentations. Like all Nintendo did was just, hey, we got our booth set up and we'll do Treehouse segments on site, but our main presentation is a direct. And this is just the one of probably like 3 major ones they did every year.
At the time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was before all the indie directs started coming in too.
Yeah. Pretty much it's a case of E3 did not die from one knife. It died from several. And it took a few years.
I mean, chances are we would probably had still came to the conclusion of E3 this year being canceled just because of how things were playing out.
Yeah.
It COVID expedited it more so than any.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it was gonna happen.
Knowing those 2020 plans, they would have been fucking taken to task on Twitter if they did their plans for 2020.
Uh-huh. And
people would have memed.
It probably would have resulted in 21's been canceled.
Yeah. Like, I can see the tweets where people dunk on it, dunk on these Q-tainments, dunk on these action bubble bullshit, all this stuff at the what would have been E3 2020. It's like, oh, this is going to get torn up. And that is the last thing E3 needs, is to get ripped apart by everyone, not just on site, but on Twitter, watching all of these pictures and stuff come in from all these people. And it's like, E3 is going to get fucking trashed for this.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no getting around it. But yeah, bye-bye E3. I don't want to say good riddance, but you didn't want. Yeah. Well, we'll see if something can manage to replace you. Because, like, I feel, because Good Vibe Games, when they talked about it, I feel that fact of having the ability to meet people in the industry and having that kind of like intersection of industry people and like people who talk and watch the industry, Like, that is what we need, but any show can turn into that if they get the right people and get the right working on it. That can still happen.
But I don't think they ever would have took E3 to the point where it needs to be for this day, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I more say that because of, look at what GDQ did. They couldn't do the in-person events, so they decided to pivot to an online setup.
Mm-hmm.
Was it easy? No. Was it flawless? No.
Absolutely not. How many flubs did they have that first event?
Right.
Too many.
And one of the online events, they had someone literally cheat the run.
Yep.
I mean, they did not have it easy, but they tried.
Mm-hmm.
They still managed to do the interviews just like they were doing with the in-person events. The only thing that was actually missing was that in-person experience.
Yep.
That was literally the only thing that was missing.
And along the way,
E3 never pivoted to anything like that. They just immediately said, oh, well, we can't do an in-person event. I guess we're not doing one.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what finished it off.
Yeah. I like awesome.
If GDQ had done that same kind of concept, oh, we can't do an online or in-person event, I guess we're just not going to do one. Do you honestly think that we would have even had one this year?
Yeah. And you know what's even nuttier about all the work they put in? Doing all that allowed them to crack open more diversity in the runs they do.
Uh-huh. And helped them build a better setup going forward. Because GDQ was an in-person only. Now we've got this hybrid.
Yeah, also, Hotfix didn't exist before COVID, did it? All the Hotfix shows.
It was trying to. I don't think it really sparked and ignited like it did until the same time the COVID stuff started. But I think that was more a management on the GDQ side of it.
Yeah.
Because I think that was one of those, they were poking at it and then they started getting more people interested in running shows.
Yeah, because I feel like I didn't really hear about Hotfix until like the last few years or so. And it was like, oh, this is like, this got traction.
It's a case of, I think it got traction because of everyone having to be at home.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably going to gain traction regardless.
Yeah.
So it's in that weird limbo of we'll never know if it would have been like it is now if things had played differently, but at the same time it probably would have. As much as they pushed into promoting it, I could see it still being where it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the big, and yeah, I'm drawing parallels between two very, very different events.
Mm-hmm.
But they both had in-person beforehand, and being that GDQ's back to being able to do, like I said, the in-person online hybrids now, I feel like E3 should have done something similar to it, especially since it had been around a lot longer. I'm surprised no one looked at that and was like, well, we can't make a lot of money off of this, but what if we did a Twitch stream where all of these could still hold conferences through the stream?
Mm-hmm.
I'd venture to say people would have done it.
Yeah, I'm just reminded that like Jeff Keighley was on the board for E3 and then left before like everything went down and went and did his own thing. And his own thing has more or less replaced E3 because it went, we can't be E3, we have to be something different, and it's the something different.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can't change and adapt, then you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think E3's learning that lesson the hard way.
Yep. All right, shall we get to releases?
I guess we shall.
All right, we're gonna start off on the 6th with Calculator Maker, my calculator for the Switch.
Of course, we'd start with something wild.
We also have Mountain Climb Driver, Real Physics Arcade Racing for the Switch. Let's see. On the 7th, we have Save the Spire.
Necrosmith? Okay. I was full expecting you to say that one.
I didn't really click what the name was until you said it. But there is Necrosmith on the 6th for PlayStation 5 and Switch. Slay the Spire Plus for iOS on the 7th. Super Box Delivery Beyond the Horizon for Switch. Legend of Heroes Trails into Revere for PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Button Up for Switch. On the 11th, FNAF Security Breach comes out for the Switch. Rain World comes out on the 11th for Xbox and Series X, and Rain World Downpour comes out for Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. I don't know what the difference is. I didn't bother to research.
There's no telling.
Yeah. On the 12th, Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals for Switch and iOS. On the 13th, Ultramarine Remake The Alchemist of Salzburg for PlayStation 5 and Switch. Unsold for Switch. On the 14th, Exoprimal, the big 4-player kind of PvPvE multiplayer game is coming out for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5. That will be on Game Pass. I might try it on Game Pass.
I feel like I've heard about that one, but I can't think of why.
That's the one with the dinosaur horde mode stuff. Like the big hordes of dinosaurs you're fighting with giant mech suits.
Okay. Yeah.
It's PvE for like 3 rounds or I think like 2 or 3 rounds of it in terms of like a kind of like a horde mode objective stuff, and then the last round is like PvPvE because then you're facing the other team. But apparently they've added in the ability to just do the PvE stuff. You don't have to do the PvP rounds if you don't want to. Like that's a queue option, and I'm like, good. I don't want to do the PvP options or do the PvP wave. I'd rather just do the PvE like competition waves.
That might be. Is it going to be on the cloud side of it, or is it going to be download?
That I don't know.
Because that might be the question.
Let me see if the Xbox app specifies. Because like I like this PvE stuff because you have 2 teams of 4, which are different mech suits that you can swap between mid-match, and you're both doing the same objectives on the same map, but you can't interact with each other like directly. I think you can indirectly interact with each other by like maybe doing objective stuff. I'm not sure.
Looks, yeah, Xbox Play Anywhere. So yeah.
Okay.
We might do that then for that Friday.
Yeah. I figured it'd be good for a pre-show just to like try it out because I know Kaiju Carl has done it on his stream a couple times and it's looked good from what he's played of it because he did the beta they did last couple months or so and it looked good. They have a nice variety of different mech suits that have different abilities and stuff and different roles. And it's like, this seems fun and stuff. And like, it's got its usual like kind of life servicey stuff with like season passes and all that. And it'll have Street Fighter mech suits, so you can be Ryu or Guile in a mech suit as a mech suit. And I'm like, fucking sure. Why not? Like, it seems fun, and I'm willing to give it a shot, especially because Game Pass, which is like the best benefit of Game Pass, of just letting me give a game a chance that I maybe wouldn't otherwise.
I mean, fair.
See, also the 14th Master Detective Archives Raincode Mystery Limited or Mysteryful Limited Edition for Switch. And that is pretty much it. The full list is in our notes per usual. And that'll do it for us. Tomorrow, it's Odyssey 80%. Hooray!
Yeah. Yeah. I will probably be at least practicing the clip, because I have still yet to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to do a dry run?
I didn't get to do it today. I'm just gonna practice the clips and stuff tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna do a dry run.
And for those not sure, because of not hearing other streams, it is not technically going to be a race, because it's going to be super unfair if we were to do that.
Pretty much.
Because I could probably still run the old route and still come in around an hour and a half. The clip, I'm expecting it actually to probably save a couple of minutes. And then I might be able to save another maybe half a minute with the rerouting for Bowser's Castle. Because fun fact, that one moon that you get before you go to the 2 battle arenas. Yeah, that's not the one that I was grabbing before.
Well,
but that one I think actually is a quicker one, if I can remember to do it right. That one I'm not practicing, because that's simply just remembering where a moon is. The movement's not that hard to get to it. I tried it once just to see, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. I'm not practicing that. I'll just hope I remember it. But yeah. So I'm not expecting to PB, but I think the possibility's there. I'm not expecting to PB because Sand Kingdom always screws me. And by always screws me, I mean always screws me.
if I can get a run going past Seaside, I will be happy.
I mean,
because Seaside's
most
Seaside.
of the way through, so.
Well, Seaside's where all my runs fall apart because I forget what the fuck to do in Seaside.
Fair.
All my runs fall apart in Seaside because I forget the route in Seaside. I get lost, and then it's like an extra 20 minutes there, and then it's to Luncheon, which I think in my count on my notes is the most moons per world. Yeah.
Is it?
18.
Second most. Metro's 20. But it's split between day and night.
Yeah, it's 15 and 5, I see, yeah.
I was gonna say, is it? Because I thought it was 18.
Yeah, it's
then you said
Luncheon.
18, I'm like, yeah, I was right.
Yeah, it's to Luncheon, which is like the second most moons in the game on a single individual level you need to get. And I'm already frazzled, and it's like, oh god, now I have to remember Luncheon's route, and it's so much stuff. Because once you're out of Luncheon, it's just a straight shot to the end. So as long as you get Moonskip.
Yeah.
Because Moonskip's just the hardest part of the run right there. Because if you don't get Moonskip, you're stuck because it's either spend. What is it?
I think I've got a new hardest part of the run though, and it's gonna be that seaside clip. I think I'm probably gonna get Moonskip probably within the first 3. Because that's usually where I'm consistent with it.
Yeah.
Seaside Skip, I'm willing to bet I'm probably going to break even with it on the run tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I can figure out some kind of a setup that works consistently for me. Because it's not that I can't do the skip. It's that I can't, for some reason, get the right visual markers to where I know I've got it.
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting it set up where I think I've got it, and I'll do something stupid like getting Mario too close so it pushes the cheat back in. It's one of those, I can either get the cheap in the right spot and screw up my movement with Mario, or I get the cheap in the wrong spot but get the movement with Mario right. So I've got to figure out that happy medium kind of deal. So it'll be interesting, and I swear if I get it first try tomorrow, I will be surprised.
That kicks off Rampa Gaming Runs, which is our new Sunday stuff, which if you're wondering where TGSR is, that's in fact next Saturday, where we'll be starting Ultraman Z, which officially, as of today, has completed its full English dub release. Last episode went up today. So thankfully, before we start the show, you can choose sub or dub in full.
So here's going to be the question. They both are on YouTube.
Yes.
For any of the viewers wanting to follow along, which do you think would be the better for me to put?
Honestly, the dub, just because it's more accessible, I guess.
Okay.
Since it is,
I have yet to update that because I got to thinking about that and I'm like, it really don't matter which ones we watch. It more matters which ones that anyone following along watches.
Yeah, like I said before when we talked about the schedule release, they are more or less identical scripts. It's the same content. I think there's just translation stuff, just trying to get it just right, but otherwise it's on point. There is no like big divergence in them. There is one weird quirk with the dub that I've noticed that just is a weird quirk just because I can audibly tell. We'll talk about that when we talk about the first 4 episodes this week. But they're the same. Like if you want to watch it subbed, the playlist is there on Super I's official YouTube channel. If you want to watch it dubbed, the playlist is there on their official YouTube channel. They are identical. Choose as you desire.
And since TGSR is now going to be bi-weekly, yeah, just be prepared to have the weekly writer talk more than likely happen in the pre-show going forward.
Yeah.
So be sure just on Sundays before Rampant Gaming runs, you just make sure to tune in and check in because more than likely we will wind up talking about it prior to whatever we're running.
Mm-hmm. And also, thankfully, Ultraman Z is short because it's 25 episodes, so it is not that long, folks.
I'm assuming that just means we're going to be doing a 5th episode on the last one.
Probably. Yeah, we'll probably just do a 5th episode on the last one.
Unless you wanted to cut it short an entire episode and let's just do 5 each time, since it's a nice even 25.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember which one's the recap episode, because there's a recap episode in there. We might do it that week, but I have to double check.
Okay.
Where the recap episode is. Because Ultraman always has a recap episode in the middle of its show because of production. because for those curious, Ultraman actually does all their production stuff super far in advance. Like Zed was mostly done by the time it started, and it's only until real late in the show do you see it get hit by COVID. Like super late. And Blazer, the newest Ultraman show, which debuts this next Saturday, is actually almost completely done. And it will just now start airing next week. To give you an idea of like, Ultraman does their production stuff way ahead of time.
Which is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah. It means we don't get those moments of like changes happening because people reacting to the show, but also it means they get more time to work on all their special effects and stuff instead of having like maybe a month lead from when it's airing at best. But yeah, that is next Saturday. But next Thursday, we're going to continue Infinite Fusion. I got to see where I want it, and we're going to see what monstrosities I get. We've had some fun ones, but nothing super spectacular just yet, but we're early on. And then next Friday, I forget offhand.
I don't really have anything.
Okay.
In stone. Yeah, I don't really have anything set in stone there.
All right, then we will.
Part of me almost feels like saying it will more than likely wind up being like Fortnite or something, but I can't swear to that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just kind of depend. Basically, we're in the month gap before the next thing can potentially start.
Mm-hmm.
And I say potentially because, as I was telling you yesterday, I'm kind of waiting on your definitive answer. That way I know for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, chances are I've got an idea for what's going to be happening starting in August and running through September on that one.
But that is the week ahead, folks. So if you like what you see and drop a follow, really appreciate it. Chipping away at that Philly goal at Teachers on Twitter, gets updates live. Exclamation point, Discord, and chat. Drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.